Yes, this is a shout out to the youngsters that don't want to hang out with their toxic parent, to the old children that decide, you know what? I don't want to be friends with my parent anymore because they are toxic. Shout out to you folks.
Welcome to the Secret Life Podcast. Tell me your secret. I'll tell you mine.
Sometimes you have to go through the darkness to reach the light. That's what I did. After 12 years of recovery in sex and love addiction, I finally found my soulmate, myself. Please join me in my novel, Secret Life of a Hollywood Sex and Love Addict, a 4-time bestseller on Amazon. It's a brutal, honest, raw, gnarly ride, but hilarious at the same time. Check it out now on Amazon. Welcome to Secret Life Podcast. I'm Brianne Davis-Gantt. Today, I'm pulling back the curtains of all kinds of human secrets. We'll hear about what people are hiding from themselves or others. You know those deep, dark secrets you probably want to take to your grave? Or those lighter, funnier secrets that are just plain embarrassing? Join me each week as we take a deep dive into one subject matter, exploring the how, what, when, where, and why of it all. Get ready for a more focused, more revealing journey of the human experience. This is Secret Life, and I'm excited for you to join the ride. Today, we are talking about, dun dun dun, parental alienation. Or is it justified estrangement? I love this topic. This is a shout out to all the people out there that decide to take a break from their parents. And then those parents love to say, oh my God, this is parental alienation. And they love to blame the other parent. Yes, this is a shout out to the youngsters that don't want to hang out with their toxic parent, to the old children that decide, you know what? I don't want to be friends with my parent anymore because they are toxic. Shout out to you folks. But here is the deal. It is called parental alienation. That is true. There is a term for it where a parent feels like they are slighted, that one parent thinks another parent is purposely trying to detach them, separate them from their own child. And here is the actual definition. Parental alienation is a situation where one parent intentionally tries to damage their child's relationship with another parent. And yes, this does happen, that a toxic parent does try to damage a relationship with another parent's relationship with their child. Yes, I see this often, very, very often. And it does happen in the court system. It does. There's manipulation. People do turn a child against another parent. It does happen. But here's what I'm going to tell you. By the time a child is around 12, 13, 14, and they can use their own brain and see and voice and see things happening, and they start asking questions. Is it another parent when they say, hey, why is dad acting so angry? Why is dad abandoning? Why is mom acting like that? Why is she raging? Is that 12-year-old, 13-year-old, 14-year-old, and on, 20-year-old, 30-year-old allowed to ask these questions, and that other parent allowed to answer correctly, honestly, without lies, without secrets? Yes. Yes, they are, because here is what damages a child most. When they view things that aren't real or something's going on, and that parent lies to them. Secrets and lies kill children more than anything. Secrets and lies and knowing something's off, but not getting a truthful answer, that damages a lot of children. So when I work with parents, I say, hey, if your child asks you, what's going on? Why is it weird in this? What's the energy? You are allowed to say, well, we're not actually getting along right now. We're actually in a conflict and we're at odds, but it's okay. It doesn't concern you. It's okay. Yes, the energy is off. The energy is weird, or we are separated at this time and we are trying to figure out if this is right for us, but doesn't concern you. It's okay. Like, we both love you. You have to answer your child truthfully. Do you get into the drama? Of course not. Do you tell them what actually is going on if that person is cheating or that person is off doing whatever they're doing? No. But the older they get, the more info they get. So if your child is 30, and they say to you, "What the fuck? Is he doing that? Is he doing that? I just heard he's doing that." You answer truthfully. Yes. If your child, as a 30-year-old, 40-year-old, comes up to you and says, "Is my mother having an affair?" You then say, "Yes. Yes, they are." "Is my father doing this?" You say, "Yes. Yes, they are." You do not lie to someone as a human being and an adult to their fucking face just because you're trying to protect the other person from their sins, from their addictions, that is not parental alienation. That is being honest to your child, to your upbringing. They're full-blown adults. You have to tell them the truth. Now, no, are you talking bad? Are you saying they're a shitty person? You don't need to say that. They already know the truth. So please use the definition wisely if you are in this situation. So let's actually go what is parental alienation in case you are using it wrong out there. Okay, so let's go into it. Parental alienation is when you are intentionally manipulating using tactics, negative perception of one parent to another parent in the eyes of that child. So ask yourself, are you manipulating or are you telling the truth? Manipulation is when you make up things, and you over exaggerate. No. So if you are, then yes, you are. Okay. Negative campaigning. That is another way. Spreading false and exaggerated information to target one parent's character and isolating the child from the other parent. Now, if the child is young and that parent is abusive, you have every right to isolate that child from the other parent. If that parent is an addict and in their addiction, please isolate that child from that parent. Please, I beg you. Now, when they get past a certain age where they can choose who to live with, which usually in the state is 14 to 15, and that is called justified estrangement. When a child gets the choice and that child, a judge even passed it, it's called justified estrangement. One parent, when a child pulls away from one parent and chooses the other, that is not parental alienation. That is where the child sees that other parent is dangerous, has abusive tendencies, has a personality difference. There's conflict there. There is chronic immaturity from that other parent, and that child feels unsafe with that parent and chooses to go with the other parent. And a judge actually can see it. If a child is over the age in the teens, they will go, "Nope, that's not parental alienation. That's justified estrangement." And that child is allowed to choose. So any child that decides not to have a relationship with their parent after a certain age is justified estrangement, not parental alienation. Get your facts straight. So if your child does not want a relationship with you, it is about time to look in the mirror at yourself and say, "What am I doing?" And I always quote this with people. I saw this amazing guy speak one time. And he said this beautiful thing: "I have 18 years to convince my children that when they see I am actually a flawed human being, that they will want to have a relationship with me. I have 18 years to convince my children that they will not see me as a dad. They will not see me that way. They will see me as a flawed human being. And I hope after 18 years that they choose to still have me in their life." So that's how I work with Davis. Listen, I got 18 years to convince this little kid that he will want to have a relationship with me when he is past 18. And I hope he chooses, because I know I'm a flawed human being. I will do the best I can. And I hope he chooses, because if he decides, "You know what, I don't want her in my life," that is his choice. He does not owe me anything. Just because I gave birth to him and he is my child, he is his own person. And if I'm not worthy to be in his life, I need to look in the mirror and look at myself. So if your child doesn't have you in their life, I ask you right now to look in the mirror and look at what you have done and look how you show up. Look at that, because that is justified estrangement, that the child is avoiding you because they are protecting themselves from a harmful situation that you are involved in, that you are avoiding. They are avoiding something, that there's neglect within you, there's abandonment within you, there's emotional instability, and they don't want to be a part of that behavior anymore with you. And they are focusing on safety, because usually there's manipulation. There is a rejection from you. There's abuse. So that is called justified estrangement, and they don't want to be a part of it anymore. That's when you need to look inside. Let's go back to parental alienation. Here are the characteristics so we can be very clear, because I jumped around and I do not want anybody to get confused. Parental alienation, a child rejects parents unjustifiably. Estrangement, child rejects parents for justifiable reasons. A parent is abusive, an alcoholic, has had affairs and has another, obviously, family, has broken boundaries, has not kept their word, has manipulated, lied to them themselves, is an unsafe person, has neglected their needs, has abandoned them, has used them for emotional incest or their own needs. These are reasons a child doesn't want you in their life, whether they're 15 and whether they're 20, whether they're 30, 40, 50, whatever age they are. Let's go back. Parental alienation. A child rejects a parent on basis of unsubstantial allegations, meaning there's things like abuse and those things done that nothing can be proven. A child rejects a parent on basis of substantial allegations. So, a child rejects a parent and there is proof. They left rehab early. They are drunk all the time. They get DUIs. There's proof that they're cheating. They have affairs. They don't keep their word. They cannot keep a job. Abusive behaviors, abusive text messages, crossing the line, manipulation, always on their terms, doesn't show up when they say they are. I mean, one after the other. Okay, let's see. Parental alienation. Child views of the rejected parent is distorted. So the parent shows up and then the child somehow distorts it and says, oh, they rejected me. Estrangement way is the child views of rejected parent is realistic. Like, I'm waiting at the airport and my parent doesn't show up, which has happened to me. So I know what that looks like. Alienation, favored parent undermines the relationship between child and rejected parent. So this is where the other parent does manipulate, where they're like, oh, your blah, blah, blah is so horrible. They're such a bad parent. Horrible. They never show up for you, when actually the parent is calling and the parent does not say they're calling. That does happen. Let's go. Favored parent, estranged and deliberate misrepresentation of the rejected parent. Evidence of only positive rejected parent-child relationships. It goes over and over where you can go down the line and say, that one parent criticizes the other in front of the child, making the child feel like the other parent doesn't love them, says, oh, they never call and say they love you. That parent is horrible, encourage their child to go against the other parent, accuses the other parent of abuse, forcing the child to be loyal to them, interferes with the child's time spent with the other parent, like makes it almost impossible for one parent to spend time with the other one, keeping the other parent from taking time in the child's life, interrogating the child after they spend time with the parent, telling the child other things about the parent that are inappropriate adult issues, encouraging an unhealthy bond with the child. Now, those things do happen a lot, especially when families are getting divorced, especially when the kids are younger. It is horrific to watch when one parent manipulates another young child and it affects their relationship. But here's the beautiful thing later that happens. The shit always hits the fan later, because what happens is later in life, that child starts seeing the truth. And normally the child then later reconnects with that alienated parent and they start bonding, and the truth always comes to the surface. So I do see that a lot. So it always gives me hope later down the line, like that child becomes wise later. But I don't like when an adult literally misrepresentates and doesn't allow the child to have a voice. And when the child actually sees the toxicity and they try to say, oh, you only care about what your mom says. And the child's like, no, you're a shitty parent. And the immature parent tries to manipulate the situation. That's what infuriates me. Don't try to use the system because you don't know how to show up as a good parent. Because these are usually narcissistic parents that want it their way, the ones that ruin the lives. Because here's what happens. They cannot listen to you. They don't allow your opinions. This is how the child feels. You're unable to see anything from your point of view. They always want to micromanage you. They'll use emotional blackmail. They'll attempt to make you feel stupid. If you don't do, the person will make you feel like you're inept, you're helpless. They have shallow emotions and they never feel completely connected to you. There is very many types of abuse, emotional abuse, physical abuse, and sometimes sexual abuse. They're only interested in your personal concerns and interests because if it connects to them, they want to control what you do and say. They have poor insight and refuse to see how you feel because it's all about their feelings because they're selfish. They are arrogant and are bullies and they can be grandiose and as the world sees them. And lastly, they exploit others and lie. And those are usually those narcissistic parents that use parental alienation to excuse their behaviors because the effects on these children are pretty bad. They have disorders, depression, anxiety, eating disorders. ADHD is a big one. ADD damages the parent and child relationship, loss of self, future relationship problems. They don't then become great parents later. Self-harm, suicide ideation, helplessness, feeling of grief and loss, abandonment issues, maladaptive coping mechanisms, confusion about their own experience, attachment problem. And lastly, they then have a hard time attaining career goals. So with all of that, if you feel like your child is not attached to you or connected to you or showing up for you, I always say, look at yourself. Then talk to your other co-parent and say, hey, I know we're not doing this well. I know I'm not showing up as best. I know we're at odds with each other, but how can we do this better for our child? How can I show up better? And whatever that parent says, or ask your child, how can I show up better for you? And what they say, try to pivot, try to look at yourself. Even if that other parent you're dealing with is a fucking asshole, try to be better. Look at yourself. I always say, look at yourself and see how you can do better because we can't control anybody else but ourselves. So let's not blame. Yes, parental alienation happens, but a lot of the times, if we do better within ourselves, the system gets better. So that's how I always see, how can I be better? Thank you for listening to Secret Life Podcast. I hope this helped. Let me know your thoughts of this week's topic and let me know what you want me to talk about. Send it to secretlifepodcast@icloud.com. Until next time. Thanks again for listening to the show. Please subscribe, rate, share, or send me a note at secretlifepodcast.com. And if you like to check out my book, head over to secretlifenovel.com or Amazon to pick up a copy for yourself or someone you love. Thanks again. See you soon.